Hello, guys. Welcome to the next episode of StarNotes. Today we'll be discussing Transformers 1. I'm Halima Osman, social media manager.
I'm Anastasia Monica, they, them pronouns, and I'm a copy editor.
My name is Jonathan Shelby. I am the assistant lifestyle editor for the lifestyle section of the Northern Star. Welcome, everyone.
So let's just jump right into it, right? I mean, obviously, I'm not that big of a Transformers fan, but at the same time, I know a little bit because I've watched Transformers growing up. So what's your guys' insight on the new movie or just in general about Transformers?
Okay. So I have not seen all of G1 or all of IDW, or I didn't manage to finish animated, but I'm big on Transformers. So I'm so hyped for this. I cannot even begin to tell you how hyped I am.
Right, because this is focusing on the time before the whole battle between
Yes.
almost the automatons, Autobots, and Decepticons. They're gonna roast me at the stake for saying automatons. Excuse me, that's the Helldivers brain rot going in, but nonetheless.
Here's the thing, right? Even if I try to say certain names that they have, all I know is Optimus Prime, Megatron,
Megatron, right?
Autobots, and the first thing that comes to my mind is Autobots Rollout.
Good.
And that's just about it. Because I used to watch it growing up. I don't know if you guys watched on was it PBS?
The first show I got to watch of Transformers was Transformers Prime, and that was on Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't watch it on Netflix. I'm talking about when I was a kid, but when I was a kid, I used to watch it 7 a.m. before going to classes, and I had an Optimus Prime toy, and we fought over it all the time. And so I was obsessed as a kid, but now I couldn't even name you another, but Bumblebee, and that's just about it. That's all you're going to get out of me. But speaking of Transformers, how many of the movies have you guys seen? And if you guys were to say actors inside the movie, who's your favorite actor?
Oh, criminy. I have not seen the Bayverse movies in so long. The only one that was memorable to me, I remember the first one, and I remember the Bumblebee movie, and that one was really good.
Yes.
I liked Bumblebee. But I remember the first one only because it was the first one I watched, and then everything else, I cannot even tell you what Bay movie I stopped watching at, but they all just blur together.
Okay. I remember all the movies. I remember all the villains from them. I don't remember some of the names. The first movie was just the regular Transformers. It was just called regular Transformers. And I think the second one was Revenge of the Fallen. That's where Optimus Prime died and had the whole line of "Give me your face." Yeah, we all remember that line. And then that's where it starts to spiral. Optimus gets more aggressive. Dark of the Moon, I think, is the next one. That's the one that kind of. Would we all agree that's Transformers peak, or of the movies at least?
Okay, yes,
I
of the movies.
Just told you that I did not remember. I remember
I
watching
know,
the one with the Quintessons, and that was the last one I remember.
I know, but you could just nod your head and say yes, and then when you go, all right, fine. Okay, so we can't be
definitely
friends.
not.
All
It's
right.
just like me. I don't remember the names of the movies, but the minute somebody says it, I'm like, oh yeah, because how I watch Transformers is either my brothers are like, let's go to the movies, let's watch something, and he's like, Transformers is out. I was like, okay, and we sit down, and I'm like, I kind of remember certain things. The only thing I remember is that I was very irritated at one point with Shia LaBeouf. I don't know what was going on.
Who was that again? Was that the?
He was the main character
He's
in
Sam
like.
Witwicky.
Oh,
He's
oh
he had
God.
daddy issues or something, and
Oh,
it was pretty weird. It was he had familial problems, and then he met Bumblebee, and then he's freaked out by obviously a live car turns into a human being, right? And for some reason I just did not like Shia LaBeouf. I don't know what it was.
Okay, that's fair.
I
That's
don't
fair.
I'm really, really, really opinionated about Transformers. So I just advise we move on from this if you want to get me to have not crazy, because I'm nothing in the Bayverse was peak Transformers.
Okay, but let me just tie up the little movies in a fantastical little bow here. 1, 2, and 3 were pretty good. Everything else, kind of forgettable. And then, what was the most recent Transformers movie? Because I completely
Bumblebee.
forgot about that. No, it wasn't Bumblebee. It was the
Beast Wars.
Beast
It's
Wars.
the one where they had the gorilla.
Yeah, that was that.
They brought in Beast Wars.
Yeah,
They
that one
brought
was
in
okay.
Primal.
I genuinely avoided it. I don't know what it was about the trailer. I think it was the trailer. I think it was something that had to do with the trailer, because it just looked like I was watching King Kong versus Godzilla versus Cars versus this versus. It was too much for me. At least for me, it was too much.
It was
That's
just
fair.
a tie-in from the Beast Wars series, but I didn't watch it because I'm like, I have other things I need to do right now. I've got paperwork, man.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it. I kind of I don't even remember who the main villain was, to be honest.
Wasn't it?
Was it Megatron?
No,
it wasn't Megatron.
They had it was like some kind of foreign alien. I don't know what it was. Literally, I did not watch it. This is from the trailer. I'm like, this is like me living through trauma or something because I'm like re-seeing the trailer. It was so confusing to me. Oh. It was, they all like band together
the only part I remember vividly from that movie is when was it the main. It wasn't. What was his name? I can't even remember the Transformers name. It was the blue car. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Is it an Autobot?
Yeah, it wasn't the Autobot. If he's the main friend of the human main character. And the only part I remember from that is when he kind of like sacrificed himself, gave like his corpse to him to put so the human could use his armor.
That's messed up.
That
man.
was that.
So okay. But anyways, regardless of all that,
Yeah, right.
The Transformers 1 thing was super cool. I like the trailer. It looks very awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very hyped to see more about D16. I'm excited to see more about Orion Pax.
As am I, yeah.
And they brought Alita 1.
Do we know the cast for this one? Is Shia LaBeouf even in this? He's
No.
not in this one, right?
No, he's not.
Thank goodness.
No.
Okay, maybe I might watch it then.
So, from what I remember,
I can look it up actually.
we've got one of them.
I have the cast right
One
here.
of them's. I feel like one of them's one of the Chris's.
Chris Hemsworth is in there.
That's who it was. Yeah. Yes. That's. I knew there was a familiar name somewhere.
I'm watching it. I'm completely.
I was just
I
thinking
have
one
the
of the
biggest
Chris's.
crush on Chris Hemsworth. Okay, we have Chris Hemsworth,
Was he
and we
playing-
have the
was he
guy
playing,
from Bullet. Is it Bullet Train? The train with
Bullet Train.
Is it Bullet Train? The one with
What's his-
orange and
What's his name?
I can't put Brian Tyree Henry. He's the guy that played it was like orange and lemon.
I
and
ain't never seen that.
It had Brad Pitt. You know,
Okay.
he's also in there. He's playing Megatron.
Oh.
And Chris Hemsworth is Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Okay. Of course. Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson.
Is it?
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. Yep.
John Hamm. Oh, we have Lawrence Fishburne. And then we have one of the we have Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele. And I think the rest of the people are just side characters in the I don't really care.
Okay.
All I need to know is that I see a cast that I like.
All right.
I ain't really care about the voice actors as long as the story's good. Like, I don't know. When I first watched part of the trailer, like the voice acting kind of like, I don't know about that. But
Right.
like the rest of it was enough to make up for it because I'm like, okay, this is awesome. And then they revealed the Decepticon top 3, like the ones that aren't Megatron, the 3 others, and the hype. Oh, the hype! They're bringing in actual Starscream, not that Blitzwing fake out from Bumblebee.
It's good to have Starscream back.
My
that's
thing
for
was
sure.
when I watched Bumblebee, I'm telling you, I think I was watching it. I think I liked it just because of the fact that as a kid, I think everybody loved Bumblebee because of the fact, Camaro, all that, like.
Oh yeah.
It was just something about it. When I was watching the movie, I might have came in biased because I was just like, no matter how bad it is, I love Bumblebee.
It's
And
funny because
we will not hate on Bumblebee.
That's what I'm like with Jurassic Park.
Yeah, right. Because whenever I think everyone's favorite Autobot is probably Optimus. It's always Optimus.
It's Optimus Prime. Yeah, definitely. When you have a toy, but then the next in line for
is
like,
Bumblebee. It's always Bumblebee.
When you think Transformers, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like the first
Optimus
image.
or Bumblebee.
Optimus or Bumblebee.
Like how with Pokemon, the first thing you
Yes.
think of is Pikachu.
But like, who
Pikachu-
draws in a lot of like
Pikachu.
kids or children or even like younger children? The first thing that my younger nephews get are either Optimus Prime or Bumblebee.
Yeah, that's
because they like how Bumblebee is. He's like very like cheery and uppity.
He's very like
He's like your friend next door or something.
Peppy.
He's very peppy. So like the first thing that comes to mind when people say Transformers is Bumblebee. I will die on that
I
hill.
think I'm too deep in for this podcast, actually. Like,
I'm just thinking about it from a perspective of someone that like, okay, you're introducing someone to Transformers and the first thing that they watch was, even if they watched like the cartoons as kids, if they're not really deep into Transformers, what's the first character that's going to come to their mind if it's not Optimus Prime? It's Bumblebee.
Probably
they're
Bumblebee.
They're not going to really know any other.
Megatron.
Megatron, if like
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
fair, but like when they think about it, like if you see a car driving past by and it's like black and yellow, the first thing that comes to mind is like,
Bumblebee.
oh, Bumblebee. And you start to have that voice in your head. So that's the reason why I like the movie, is because they did portray his character to me, like just my childhood, like a little bit similar, but it seemed like an adult version. Like I felt like this is what grown-ups watch if they want to watch Transformers instead of the cartoon. In my head, as I was like picturing myself as a kid until now, like if it's like a transition from the cartoon to watching it in like live action, and it looks more like an adult movie.
I think so for me, I started watching Transformers when I was like in my teens. So it's not that different it's not like childhood nostalgia for me. And then also it's like I tend to get, when I'm into something, I get deep. So when you go, oh, who's your favorite Transformer? It's probably Optimus or Bumblebee. It's Blur. It's not Optimus or Bumblebee. It's Blur. Specifically TFA Blur for Autobots. And then I like Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave.
Thank you. Soundwave is the coolest Decepticon. Don't at me.
Soundwave Prime and Soundwave G1 are the coolest Decepticons, but Shockwave TFA is the coolest Decepticon.
That's fair.
TFA.
That's fair.
Okay, here's the question that I love to ask. If you were to like incorporate like any movie or anime, because I love anime, into Transformers, what do you think would be like the mashup that you would love to see? Like, you know how they mash up movies sometimes?
They already ripped off Gundam, so I think it would be very
That's
funny.
what I was going to say.
It is exactly like the first thing that came to my mind was either
it would be very funny if they brought in Gundam.
What's that anime? I'm Lelouch La Via Britannia, 90th episode. Whatever that anime was, I forgot it. It's one of the animes that I watched. It reminds me of Transformers. And I was like, I'm wondering.
Wait, what did you say?
The what I said before?
No, what did you say? Yeah, what was that?
I'm Lelouch La Via Britannia.
Code Geass.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something.
That's fair, yeah.
Yes, Code Geass. Let me tell you. So deep into it. And I was like, I would love.
I'd be down for that. I'd be down to see some Lelouch mix it up with some automatons or Autobots.
If we're saying like what would make sense, I think would be funny for Gundam. However, if we're saying what would be fun or crazy, like Demon Slayer or Pokemon, they're just two different ends, but they're so
Pokemon's inside Transformers. Right? Oh my goodness.
I don't want to. They get destroyed.
I was just gonna say adding like freaking Godzilla or
Groudon.
I mean, are you
Rayquaza,
talking about the
Kyogre.
current Godzilla, or are you talking about Gogeta? Anyway, but getting back on track.
This is turning into an anime podcast real fast.
No. I just thought it was interesting to see what other people would put, like. How would you like change up either Transformers? What would you add into it? What would you take out? I like to like mash up random movies and see how they look like together. Especially for Transformers, I feel like it's really easy to like mix it up with something else. Especially, I don't know, as the years gone on and it turned into like kind of a live action movie. I can fit a lot of movies into it. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can fit a lot of characters.
I think I care less about it like mashing up with. So say that Transformers 1 turns into a series.
Uh-huh.
What I would like is if they do end up getting to Earth, which hopefully they don't. I would like to see the beginning bits of the war first.
I would too.
I would much prefer them stay off of Earth for a while. But if they ever end up on Earth, I would love for them to incorporate stuff from like make the human characters not useless, and like bring in kind of like I've been watching Earthspark, so I'd like for them to bring in some of the newer concepts that they've been bringing in from Prime, TFA, Earthspark. So some of that, like, stop ignoring the cartoons, because like,
yes,
I agree with that. Yeah,
just because you're a live action, that doesn't mean that Transformers is like, oh, the cartoons are only for kids.
Exactly.
No, are you kidding me?
They would get a
base?
huge audience.
That's actually why Bumblebee and now Transformers 1 have been so popular recently in the fan base, is because they're coming back to the G1 styles instead of the overcrowded Bayverse style.
And they like that. And the fans like that.
And it's big hype because it's easier to see. It's easier to conceptualize, like, oh, yeah, that's Optimus. Oh, yeah, that's Megatron. Oh, yeah, that's Bumblebee.
Exactly.
It's easier to conceptualize. So I'm big excited. I'm big hoping for lots of emotional stuff. I'm big because D16 becomes Megatron.
Yeah, as we all
Spoiler
know.
alert. So it's going to be really cool to see the gradual change from this group of friends to one of them splits off and starts the Decepticons.
Yeah.
I like when they do movies for people who haven't watched like Transformers as growing up as kids or anything that explains the beginning, and
Like the beginning,
not like okay. So I think what I didn't like about the previous Transformers movies, correct me if I'm wrong, it was very like, my life sucks, I like this girl, here comes like it wasn't really I felt like I was just watching a Shia LaBeouf drama movie.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
I think
wrong.
that's right for 1 through 3, and then when they switched actors, it kind of
Yes.
became like a father-daughter kind of thing.
But like it was weird that
Dynamic.
the whole dynamic for the reason why I think the reason why I didn't like that one was because of the fact that the entire movie was just on like either he was crying or he was upset, and you could barely even think that it was a Transformers movie in my head.
It was too focused on the humans, is what you're saying.
And I'm like, it's Transformers, not Transformers X Humans and
Not
Shia
humans.
LaBeouf and
Not humans and their buddy pals, the Transformers.
I agree, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with adding the human aspect into it, but I feel like
But it should be balanced more towards the, I almost said automatons again, Autobots and the Decepticons.
Like TFA
Exactly,
and Prime
yeah.
did. Like, and even almost Earthspark, because Earthspark also, even though it's very focused on a human family, it still delves into the bots. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, here's the humans, they're the main characters.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're actually not the main characters. I don't think people understand that, because a lot of the times when I see the movies for like Transformers, like just recent movies, you would think that the Transformers were the side characters, and I'm like, okay.
You know what? I kind of agree with that, because when the first Michael Bay Transformers movie released, I think it was mostly focused on the humans.
Yes, it's all about their relationships and what they're
that's what
feeling
I'm
in life.
saying.
And I was like, I genuinely do not care.
And it's like this little white boy's obsession with this pretty girl, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, I guess I never realized that. Huh.
It's only like once you kind of rewatch the movies, and
Yeah.
you start to see like, okay, I actually like if you start like going back and I was like comparing and contrasting, like when I was growing up, oh, this is the cartoons were all about Optimus Prime and all their like what journeys they went through as like Autobots and all that, and then you come now and it's live action, you're thinking, yes, I can see it like as if I were to walk outside, the car is going to transform right in front of me. No, it's literally like a good chunk of it was just about his relationship issues and what he's going through in life. And don't get me wrong, if it's like if they're trying to be like teen drama, it'll really resonate with like teenagers. Sure, but like you also have to think about your core audience,
Right,
which
yeah.
are people who watch Transformers. Now imagine you've loved Transformers all your life and you're expecting the best of the best. And you might like Shia LaBeouf. And you go into the movie theater, you pay $8, you sit down, and it's just end on
And
end.
a big chunk of the movie is just that. It starts off well, big chunk is that. Then you get back into, I forgot how Transformers
Are
1.
we getting you on our side that the peaks of Transformers were never in the Bayverse and they were always in the cartoons?
I'm telling you, maybe you got to rewatch the cartoon.
I haven't, well, I mean, the
gotta
last
rewatch
cartoon I
all of
watched
it.
was Transformers Prime on, I think, Netflix, which only has one season for some reason.
Yeah, they
which
took
irritates me.
off the last 2 seasons, and that infuriates me.
So now I have to pay to watch the second season again. But regardless, I haven't watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a long time. I think the last Transformers movie I watched was with my dad and my brother in theaters. But I haven't seen any of the original Michael Bay movies in a long time.
Well, I mean, you kind of made it clear what you're expecting to see from Transformers 1. What are you expecting to see?
I haven't really. I've kind of started recently getting back into the G1 era of Transformers because I don't know all that much about the lore. The only I'm sorry.
The lore of G1 kind of is not the lore. You're looking for the comics, bud.
Okay, the comics.
The comics are good too.
They are.
The comics
I've
are
seen
good
a few.
too.
Yes.
The
Animation
IDW.
and comics. So if you were to take all of those, mash them in your head, what are you expecting from this movie? What are you expecting from Chris Hemsworth?
I'm kind of hoping to learn.
Sorry.
I'm kind of hoping to learn more about just the origins because I don't know much about. Obviously, I know the whole ordeal with Orion Pax, Bumblebee,
T16.
T16. I almost said Megatronus. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're thinking of Prime again.
I know. Prime is on the brain. But I'm hoping to just dive more into the story because my perspective is based on like the movies, Transformers Prime. I think that's pretty much it.
I want the emotion, man. Like Prime did okay.
Yeah.
With like the whole like this is the split between these two who were brothers, right?
Yeah.
I want to see
Yes.
pain.
Yes.
I
In
want
all
to see
honesty.
emotional devastation.
Yes.
Yeah, because I saw some of the comics. That was pretty brutal. It had this brutality.
Well, more
I
than
think
meets the eye is nicer.
I think like
Yeah.
the main focus, like for us, like right now speaking on it, what we at least I think we're all collectively here, is that we expect for them to give us what we were seeing growing, for me growing up, or in the comics, or something that feels like Transformers and it doesn't feel like teenage drama movie. And we want to see obviously action, but you want to connect with the Autobots. You want to connect with the stories that they're giving, and not necessarily like Optimus Prime comes out, D16 comes out, boom, 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 boom. Humans are telling about their life stories, and then the movie ends.
I also think that considering the time span of this, if they shy away from the issues of classism and the caste system, I'm going to be infuriated because that's like the whole reason the Decepticons started.
That's why they split up. Yeah.
So like if they shy away from that, if they like wimp out from that, if they try and say, oh, well, because of Megatron, the guys he was fighting against must have been the good guys. No, this is not a black and white situation. You better not put it as though it is.
I think they might, if they do a second movie, they might, or a second or a third movie, they might just delve into that more. If we do get that, we might get a hint to it at the end of this movie.
Yes.
But that's the whole point.
Yeah, right.
It's the whole point of
If they don't,
the
at least
current
including
conflict.
it.
Hint to
at
it.
least including it.
Yeah.
Like, sure, some people might be like, why is it always at the end? But at least including it or touching base on the main points. Like, listen, all I got to say is, if you're listening to this, right, directors, creators of Transformers 1,
yeah, listening to this
all right,
little college podcast.
we want you guys to listen to your audience.
with like 5
Include
viewers.
us in your thoughts. But with all of that being said, I would like to wrap things up by saying I really enjoyed talking about Transformers with you guys. I'm probably going to go home and binge watch just for the fun of it. I believe, if I'm not corrected, the release date
It's the 19th.
it is the September 14th.
It was 14th.
So
yes.
it was already released. September 14th.
I'm
So-
just thinking about our theater in town.
So I don't know if the theaters in your towns are different, but it was released September 14th. So if you're really into Transformers, if you really want to see Optimus Prime, if you really want to relive your childhood.
Orion packs.
I will say though, if you have any like light sensitivity like I do, you might want to find a buddy to watch it with so that you can kind of close your eyes or something and then have them tap you when the flashing lights are done.
Oh, yes.
Because
Yes,
it
yes.
is in fact an action movie and there will be flashing lights.
Yes.
I'm thinking of going even though there won't be anybody next to me, but that's my risk. Be safe. Be careful.
Don't try this at home,
And
kids.
enjoy, and truly enjoy. Well, I'll close it up for us. This was the StarNotes, and
Thank you for watching.
yeah, thank you for watching.